Alright, first speech, mechanics. Punctuation. Let's launch this. Yes. Sec, run it. This is the first time we've used skill. Who here has used Skillsoft before?
I just found out about it this morning.
Oh, did you? Who here has used? Wait, Christina's used Skillsoft before, no? No, sorry, you moved. I thought you were Christina. Cheryl's used Skillsoft?
We had that this morning.
Yep.
Alright.
In a prior class.
Alright, so everyone is sort of. I'll turn it up. Everyone pay attention. Yes. What? It's not writing? Alright, move up here with us. Here.
But as you know, all sentences need to be ended with either a period, a question mark, or an exclamation point.
Yeah, you can, but this is why we have it in class. Where's the pause button? Oh, here it is. No. You really can't.
Also referred to as the full stop, is one of the most commonly used punctuation marks in the English language.
Hold on. I'm having issues with making this thing do as I tell it to. Okay, so, parts of speech to launch. So I want to be able to pause it and explain it in the future. Why parts of speech? Why? Well, that's not right.
Well, we cut the pen off.
No, we're good. Punctuation launch. Run application. And here we go. Alright, can everyone hear the speakers? Oh, in a minute you will. Alright, so remember how yesterday I talked about end punctuation? This is going to go over that a bit. You weren't? Well, okay, not yesterday, but last class. Surrounded by literalists. And I did. So, in a word,
Does punctuation matter? It doesn't change the meaning of the actual words on a page, but it can alter how you read sentences, separating thoughts and ideas logically. Imagine if you didn't use any punctuation at all.
this is already being
But as you
recorded.
know, all sentences need to be ended with either a period, a question mark, or an exclamation point. These punctuation marks indicate the end of a sentence, separate thoughts, and keep ideas moving cohesively toward a conclusion. They help the reader move in the same direction toward that conclusion. The period, also referred to as the full stop, is one of the most commonly used punctuation marks in the English language. A period is used at the end of all types of sentences, including declarative sentences and most imperative sentences. It is also used with indirect questions. Select each sentence type for an example. A declarative sentence states an idea and gives information to the reader. For example, the files are ready.
Alright. Someone's getting this? Miss, some runs the voice search. Saunders following along all right? Good. Miss Christina, you having any trouble with this? Good? Alright.
An imperative sentence gives orders or directions. For example, please do not smoke.
Or, for example, please do not eat in my class would be an example of an imperative sentence. An easy way to remember the imperative sentence. Who here knows the word imperious? Yeah.
That's short-lived, right?
Well, no, imperious is haughty, like giving a command. Like, if I say imperiously, please, do not do this. An imperative sentence, is very, it's giving a direction, for the most part. See? I mean, the definition. Direction or order. Yes, if you're ordering someone around, you're acting imperiously. Like, if I say, Mr. Saunders, move closer to me. That is a direct order, and therefore an imperative sentence. Actually, stay away from me. Alright, so we got declarative and imperative sentences so far. Any questions? It's all pretty simple stuff. What?
An indirect question is a sentence that implies a question by paraphrasing what someone has asked. For example, the manager asked us why the project was behind schedule.
So, who here gossips? Wow. Alright, let me revise that. If you gossip, raise your hand. Miss Tony, raise your hand. I know you're not in my class, but I know, but raise your hand anyway.
That you gossip.
Everyone gossips, so I want to see every hand in the air. Alright?
Tony says she doesn't gossip, she just has a conversation.
Of course she does, with a lot of people. Now then, so, as we've established that everyone...
You want to stay above me today. I'm only in here doing me.
Miss Tony, you're being exemplary so far, and I applaud you for that.
Thank you.
Sorry I picked on you there. Now then, if you gossip before in your life, which we just established everyone does, then you've asked indirect questions. So, if I said, Louise asked me why Miss Tony was in my classroom not doing work, I'd say, oh, well, she's doing her work. That was an indirect question. While I wasn't asking a question, I was reflecting someone else saying a question, hence not needing a question mark. It's kind of the he said, she said sort of thing. Does everyone understand that? Or at least, if they don't understand my rather drawn out definition, understands the definition on the board?
Indirect means someone saying what someone else said.
Yep.
Someone else spoke.
What someone else might have asked. That's the only time
Not
it's...
necessarily.
Yeah. Well, usually it's in the form of quote. It doesn't have to be. Get me? Excellent. So we can move on. Haru. Alright. Oh, now it's deciding. Alright. And should I start? What we have is some technical difficulties, i.e. this computer is technically being difficult all over me.
You're the audio video man.
No, dude, see, I wish I had Chris Heisen for this, seriously.
Is he around?
He's always around, it's not bothering. Alright. Let's accept this and go to the next slide. Alright, what did that even just do? Alright, I want to know why it keeps doing that. Now then. This is the most frustrating thing I've seen in my life. And I say that with no possibility of... What? You know what, man? Now's the wrong time for that. Magnifier, let's go less with it. Okay. Just want to go to the next slide, come on. Red arrow on the bottom.
An An imperative sentence gives orders or directions.
We got
An
that.
imperative sentence gives orders or directions. For example, please
What?
do not smoke.
What's that?
That's what the red flags.
It is, but I can't reach it.
We did indirect questions.
Yeah, I know. We did all
Let
of
you
these.
reach it.
Help. Options. Allow pop-ups.
And when we go through the large numbers, we give them a spot.
An indirect question is a
Nah,
sentence
not
that
really.
implies a question.
Alright, now why is it not letting me do this?
So the
Well,
manager
this is
asked
frustrating.
why the project is
Interesting. Go, Saunders.
Yes.
Run into room 3 and grab Mr. Hexel.
Sure.
Alright, so, now that we're stuck on this page, let's do it.
What's the movement about next to files?
Oh. Yeah.
Not that one. What's next? The one next
Oh.
to the files.
Oh,
It's
well then.
Internet Explorer. There's files and there's arrow.
Oh, this thing?
over there.
No,
She's talking.
to the left, to the left, to the left.
Oh, that's
Right here.
Windows Media Player.
No.
We don't want any part of that.
Is there some stuff on the top that's not?
I'm trying to get this.
Because we were watching Daryl do this.
Show stuff.
Kelly.
So,
He didn't go with the
declarative sentence? We did. It's the first one.
A declarative sentence states an idea and gives information to the reader.
What?
For example, the files are ready.
Right. So anything that is a statement of fact. Like, Durgee's wearing a do-rag. That's a statement of fact. Hey man, I like your do-rags. I just used it because it was really obvious. Like, I don't think I've seen you, except for in your profile picture, without a do-rag. I actually think I could pass you on the street and not know you without your do-rag. Your do-rag is like your defining physical feature at the moment, which is pretty awesome. All right.
That word again, what's that word?
What word?
No.
Unctuous?
How
is that
I'm
unctuous?
just saying that, I'm just.
If I said, Durgee Johnson is the single greatest human being ever to draw breath on this planet, that would be unctuous. All right, so let's have a little pop quiz. Make this real easy. You have your notes in front of you, so don't even worry about it. All right, so what's an imperative sentence? Anyone want to tell me?
Sentence of right question.
All right, yeah, a question or an order.
Yeah.
Yeah. Indirect questions. Can someone give me an example of one off the top of their head?
Not comparative that give me the answer with a quote right now.
Not quite.
Indirect is applying something,
indirect
but you
question.
don't use the person's right.
You find it?
Yes, he's on the
Cool. He's got like all the problems. Yes, what's up?
The instructor asked me if I had completed my assignment.
Yeah, yes. The instructor, hey, Chris, I need your assistance. And not just because there's a weird woman looking at me from the screen.
She's not looking at you. She's looking at the fire extinguisher sprayer thing.
Oh, is she? Explains a lot.
She's looking right there.
Her eyes are slightly crossed.
She isn't. She's on
Anyway,
the
I need a little bit of help here, man.
Okay.
So I just want to go to the next slide, and the toolbar is kind of blocking me from being able to get to that option.
So,
Oh, you're
I
excited.
think, as I recall,
As you recall. Properties, taskbar,
auto hide the taskbar.
Chris, I might be in love with you.
Now, if you move your mouse all the way to the bottom, it'll pop back up.
Awesome. Oh, so like what Macs automatically do.
I know. I hate it when they do that.
I love when they do that.
Because I can't. Because I want to be able to see all the things I'm working on without having to move my mouse.
I'm gonna put you off guard.
Thanks,
But you can change that on your computer and make it look like that.
You're a genius.
Right.
If you want, I'll even white out over the Alt key and put a little apple
Fastball,
picture.
You make me smile. Get out of my classroom.
Is that being recorded?
Oh yeah. Alrighty guys. So, who here's sick of this slide? Yeah, I'm pretty sick of it too. Alright, next page.
Another key function of the period is to indicate an abbreviation. titles that are almost always abbreviated are Mr. and Mrs. Other abbreviated titles, such as Doctor, also take a period. In addition, you use periods in abbreviations such as EG and IE. Periods can also be used in single-word abbreviations, as is the case in the abbreviations for manufacturing and limited. And periods are often used to follow a number in a list or outline, and
Alright, so we're going to pause here and let you take notes on this. Who here is getting little not too traumatic flashbacks of my PowerPoint yesterday, where I brought all this up?
Yeah, same kind of same thing.
Alright, cool. There's a reason for that. That is a literary device called foreshadowing. I will buy you a Coke if you can define foreshadowing without looking it up.
Foreshadowing. Looking into
Ed? Yes, Ms. Huff.
Do a test before time.
That's my definition.
Do it once ahead of time.
It's to hint at its future emergence. Yeah. Kind of. Yes, Ms. Carroll.
No, that's my definition.
Your definition of foreshadowing is Charlie. I might buy you a Coke anyway, that was clever. Just come in tomorrow, next class with a big, 20-liter thing of Coke.
But at the end of the class, we all gonna have a Coke.
Yeah, and a test that we ain't expected either.
Now, would I give you a surprise test?
Yeah.
No, see, I don't do tests because Christina Morton should not be where she is. See, when I'm doing tests, I can't watch you. And that's bad. Sometimes I need to keep an eye on you guys. Also, there's the plain fact that if I give you tests, I have to grade them. So, anyway, I'd rather prove what you learn inside the context of a classroom. Alright, so everyone has notes on this? Other instances periods are used in besides ending a sentence? Everyone's cool if I hit the play button again? No one's going to say, oh no, I was right in the middle of
I'm
writing
trying to
that.
think of what it says, a number in a list.
1, 2,
1, 2, 1, 2.
Oh,
A, B, or the Google.
Not one comma.
You have 2 periods in the Google there.
Yeah.
Not one comma. two
Yes.
commas.
That's what they're talking about. It's
Single
that
word
abbreviation,
No, it's not
like,
commas, it's
Oh,
periods.
I see. When you
D-O.
Like if you're making a
Oh,
shopping
yes,
list,
okay,
it's like
right.
1, broccoli,
But
2,
see,
no,
Right,
3,
right, right.
hearts of Miami's, whatever.
Or in-
Alright, cool. We're going back into play mode.
My mind was free for a minute.
Oh, there's going to be some serious consequences for the first person to go to sleep in my class, man.
and in internet addresses. Periods are also used to indicate an ellipsis, which is the omission of a word, phrase, line, paragraph, or more from a quoted passage.
Alright,
something I never heard
Can you
of.
freeze
this is,
that?
yeah, freezing it right now. Okay?
Are we gonna get copies of this?
These notes are available through a hyperlink that I can send you. No problem there. But I will just give a brief, maybe 2-minute thing on ellipses. Ellipses, as they just said, is an omission. Ellipses is symbolized by 3 periods in a row. It's the only time you're ever going to see 2 or more periods next to each other. That's not a massive typo. It means it goes on. There's more text, but you're basically skipping ahead. Like in academic
It's
writing.
kind of like,
Does he like it?
instead of a comma or something.
Hold on, I will explain
You
it.
said ellipses.
Ellipses are used to indicate that more text lies between what you want to say and what you've already said. Well, it's kind of like that. So, like, look, say you have a great quote.
Indicate that more text.
Right. And you want to say,
You have a great quote, but it's like 4 paragraphs long, and you only really need 2 lines. You can't just copy and paste and say put the 2 sentences you want right next to each other, because that's not factually accurate. So you say, ask not what you can do for your country, ask what your country can do for you. No, I butchered that, but you get the idea. Famous quote, right? And so, you want to get to the rest of, JFK's speech, but you don't want to go through the whole speech, so you put ...
is that a future?
and then the second half of the quote you wanted to put in there. It's kind of like a bridge, 3 dots, between 2 disparate things by the same source. And you'll see a lot in academic writing.
Oh, 3 dots mean like you skipped ahead.
It means you're skipping parts that come afterwards to get to where you want to go. Alright, does that make sense to everyone?
Kind of, because I
I
do
was
good
confused.
text. I do, but
It
I
also
didn't
can
know
be
it was
used-
actually a...
Right, but
Right.
text is different. Text speak, you can write you and not
No,
you.
no, no.
Explain.
I write text like that too. I don't do it. So, like, if I want to... I let's see.
Hold on.
It means, like you said, like I'm starting a point. It's like you got the idea, so I don't have to finish it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can also use it for dramatic effect if you're writing dialogue. You can use it to sort of trail off. ... if you don't want to make it a direct end sentence. That's one way to do it. But again, ellipses don't come up that much in business writing. I mean, they can if you're writing a form letter about something god awful boring as this sample right here. But again, they don't come up that often, but you should know about them.
Like resume.
If you are using an ellipses in your resume, I really want to see the resume.
Yeah.
Then again, there's always that exception that proves the rule.
I have a question.
Don't you think it's on and on and on?
The question I have about ellipsis is how do you know when, or no, can it be used just like a comma at times?
No, it's not used as a comma. Comma is used. Right, but I'd rather you take notes than practice.
Okay, but I'm just, okay.
Cool. Can you give me your full attention then?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. I appreciate that very much. No, because a comma is a pause, and ellipses is a transition to either another bit of text or letting the other person pick up the slack.
I
It
misuse.
doesn't change it. Like if you said to take over negotiations, comma can do it wrong.
Right, but
Oh, I see what they're saying. It's
in
like
text
a-
is different from verbal.
I got it. Even just saying it is
If you pick
different.
up on it later on.
Yeah.
I got it.
Okay. Yes, Miss Cheryl.
I've been misusing that because I'm thinking that when I do that, number one, I'm trying to cut it short, what I'm saying, and number two, I'm saying I'm taking for granted that the person know what I'm saying, so it's like on and on, but I don't want to write it. So it's like a lazy. I've been misusing that.
I got it.
Not necessarily.
It's not necessarily misuse, but in the context of business writing, which is what I am, still eventually working on teaching you guys, it only comes up in very specific negotiations when you don't want to skip a lot of text.
That's what I mean.
I use it
But in your own writing, you can use it however you want. I mean,
So you would say that's for future tense, isn't it?
not for future tense, but
What did you say?
I mean, you would use it to bridge between one bit of information to the next pertinent bit of information.
Okay, it's a break.
You advantage? What happened? Okay. Ow.
Okay.
Yeah. Split it open a couple times, it's fine. Alright. So anyway, that was an entirely too long digression on ellipses, but you guys get the point.
The period is one of the most common.
True. Most people just know it as ... And the ellipses is only used by, honestly, grammar Nazis like me. Like, most people will say ... I'll say ellipses because you get people who go like this. Alright? So everyone knows what an ellipsis is now. If I give you a sheet at the end of class saying, what is an ellipsis? I better see ... at the bottom.
That's all I'm
You
looking
will
at.
see that.
Excellent! And I have done my job.
I'll put ... bridge. See ...
Alright guys. Anyway, moving on. So listen to the voice here.
Commonly used punctuation marks in the English language. Identify where periods should be used in this passage.
Okay. So who here wants to read the first paragraph of that passage?
Several
Yeah, starting with several, but
Several of you have been wondering when your performance appraisals will be held. They will begin on Tuesday morning when Miss Susie will meet with each of you to discuss your results before your meeting. Please think about the following.
okay, pause. Alright, now there's one big clue that tells you where the period should be. Can anyone tell me what that clue is? Yes, Ms. Huff. The capitalization. When you see capitalization in the middle of a sentence, that is a clue that someone has missed their period. Now, who here wants to speculate on where the first period would go? Yes, Ms. Cheryl.
Held.
Okay, good. Alrighty. Yeah?
Miss,
Alright.
They will begin.
Yeah. They will begin on...
Ellipsis.
Yeah, yeah. No.
That's on.
They will begin on Tuesday morning when Mrs. Matsui will meet with each of you to discuss your results.
Results. period should be at results.
There's no period of emphasis.
Oh,
That's what I said.
you know what? You're absolutely right.
That's what I
I
said.
didn't even know. Isn't that shocking, guys? I never
Period
make
of
errors.
results.
Right, so Mrs. Period, very well spotted, and then results. As you,
Period.
good, nice assist, very good. Glad you guys are paying attention. I don't have to do this all myself. Very happy about that. So, before your meeting, please think about the following: your goals, what you can do to improve, and where you see yourself in 3 years' time.
Period after 1, 2,
The,
Yep.
the numbers.
God, I love a class that's on the ball. It's wonderful. All right, last one, last line, or last paragraph. You can fill this information in on the appraisal form, which can be found at the HR website at www.docucentury.com. It's a form that starts with looking at your own performance, ellipses. Actually, it's not
It's
ellipses.
already
It's,
there.
No, you can fill out the information on the appraisal and the HR web. Period.
www.docucentury.com. Yeah,
Pardon me?
it's
www.
Yeah.
Yeah.
HR stands for Human Resources, and while you could put periods there, you don't have to.
No, you can put a period at site, at the end of site. Website, because you said you can fill out the information on appraisal form, which can be found at the HR website.
No, because you can't start sending it at,
Website, it's actually giving you a website.
because it's giving you directions.
Okay.
Period after that.
Period after web.
World www? You talking about?
Yeah, www. You know.
Because century.com and century.
No, because period after web makes sense. At the HR web dot site.
I wonder if you could use the Ilium after appraisal form is given on the HR website, and then ... and then come up with it's the form that starts.
I always thought,
Hold on, let me just fill in what you guys said.
Oh, you didn't actually put that?
Yeah, I was just reading the directions, and wow, apparently you can do that.
What?
Fill in where you guys said to put periods. Not that. All right, wow, we're going pushing up daisies, man. It's great. All right, so fill some appraisal form. Let's try the HR. Let's see what you guys think about this. What the computer says. Ah, sugar this. So it's not HR. Hold on.
Century.
I said that.
All right, do you see green? That's where the yes.
And number 3, let me ask you something.
Uh-huh.
At the end of that sentence,
Yeah.
that
Computer
don't
says-
forget a period.
That's not a complete statement.
Because it's not complete.
Where you see yourself in 3 years' time.
Yeah, that's one of the indirect questions,
Okay.
I think. All right, it's a form that starts with looking here.
It's not even asking you, it's telling you to write it before you read it.
It's a complete statement.
Possible
You have
now.
to-
And if that's the case, we'll put a period on number 2 also.
Yeah.
That's why I said, because at first he had a period on it, on number 2. That's why I said it.
All right, so everyone's getting this? Cool. Alonze?
Questions come up every day in business. It's when you have to communicate questions in writing that problems can arise. Which sentences do you think require a question mark?
All right, so who here wants to read the first sentence? Mr. Cornelius, belt it out for me.
She wondered whether it was worth the effort.
Okay? Miss Christina, belt out number 2.
Why do you want to work in the IT department?
Okay? Mr. Gary, 3.
manager explained why the company needs to lay off
What was the question?
some of its
Question mark?
employees.
Okay? And lastly, Miss Richardson.
It's the advertisement is ready for print.
All right, so which ones do you think deserve question marks?
Number 2.
2 and 4. 2 and 4. Ooh. All right. Anyone disagree with that? Anyone have strong feelings otherwise? Oh, good, because 2 and 4 is absolutely correct. Let's see here. 2 and 4 and done. Haha! Good. So, in this case, direct questions like this one are always followed by a question mark, as they say. And this is also a direct, yeah, both of them are direct, the other 2 are indirect. explanations and wonders usually can at least sometimes be incorrect. Or not incorrect, indirect. I should probably stop chewing this. It's making me mess up when I talk. Yes, Miss Christina. Go on. Alright, if any of you guys have transportation, go out and get it. If you don't, good for you. If you do, go and get it now. Go on. Alright. That's okay. You can totally, run out of my classroom. The rest of us are going to have a totally secret, fun party while you're out getting transportation. I promise nothing. Besides, being a teacher means you don't have to follow your own rules. Haha. Wrong. So wrong, it makes my head hurt. Alright, so questions can be tricky. Luckily in this class you guys don't tend to abuse the question marks, so that's good. That's not a problem. What you do tend to abuse is the commas and or the run-on sentences. You don't have to deal with that. The cat may look at a king, Miss Huff. The cat may look at a king. From Shakespeare. Yeah. No, don't worry about it. The one issue that comes up with question marks is that I saw in a couple other classes that people just try to shoehorn question marks into everything, even when they're direct statements or orders. Unless you're expecting an answer, don't use a question mark. It's a really great rule of thumb. Actually, I'm going to have you guys write that down. Cornelius, you gotta go. Just adjust it.
Yeah.
That's good.
When the words why and is, they're at the beginning, always.
It's very frequently a question. Actually, yeah, more often than not. I'd say more than 90% of the time. So who, what, when, where, why. The 5 questions. Anyone here ever do, work for their high school newspaper or anything? Yeah, the 5 W's. Who, what, when, where, why. When those start a sentence, be on the lookout for a question mark at the end, because that usually starts a sentence. Yeah, unless you're expecting an answer in return, don't put a question mark. At least for business writing. Fiction writing, which someday I wish that I could teach. There's a great device called a rhetorical question, where you ask a question without expecting an answer.
So if you're not expecting something,
There's a rhetorical question, which is a special type of question where you ask a legitimate question, but you don't expect an answer. To make a point. Yeah. What? Oh no, you put a question mark, but you don't expect an answer.
You want to teach me?
I'd love to. So far, I'm pretty terrible at it. So you guys are my get all my terrible teaching ideas out of the way class, so you get better. I hope you feel honored.
Good.
We'll see.
I do that a lot when I'm texting my kids. Ask them a question and really not expect an answer back. Quotation mark.
Fair enough. Yes. Cornelius. You look intent. What's on your mind?
Listening.
A good thing to do. You and my father would get along very, very well. He's a great one for listening before saying it. Makes him very hard to beat in an argument. He actually hears what you say, and you're just like, you were listening. I view that as cheating. We listen. That's true. Alright, how many people are waiting off for transportation?
Yeah, it's a little break in the action.
Yeah?
Question.
Let's hear it. What have I written? I have about 200 pages of short stories that I haven't published. I'll give you 10 pages of one sometime.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, we'll see if
Don't
it's
say
any
I'm
good.
getting that word again. It's that word.
Unctuous.
I am sincere because I enjoy writing too. I always thought that I would be able to write something that I never knew.
person who wrote, the grass is always green on the other side.
Oh, that
Pick
person?
one.
Oh,
Cheryl
Cheryl.
Anderson. Who picked that?
yeah, it was Cheryl.
That's
picked
not
that.
quite
Cheryl.
what she said though.
No, beware the
That's
the greener grass.
Yeah.
What,
Pick
which,
that.
yeah.
Well, I'm gonna like to put it on the back.
Okay.
I mean, that was what I'm just saying, that, have fun with that.
That's interesting. I can't wait to review it. Hopefully we can get through this presentation a little bit faster. Christina!
Gary.
Whatever, we're going on without him. Durji, can you shut the door? We're going to go on. I don't care if we're missing about two-thirds of our class, even though I'm terrible at fractions and this shows. Alright, we're going on. Onwards and upwards. We've got 17 more of these suckers to do.
Question marks are always used after direct questions.
See?
For example, why do you want to work in the IT department is a direct question. But question marks are not used after indirect questions, which report what someone has asked, but not in the form of the original question, as in, she wondered why he had done that. Question marks are occasionally used to indicate surprise or skepticism, as in, what? Is this his only response? And did you know that a request politely disguised as a question doesn't need a question mark? For example, when you write, would you please reply by December 10th, you use a period rather than a question mark at the end.
This is a style of writing that is unique to business. When you're going to have to write requests at some point, if you think about it thoroughly enough, well, I'm about to explain. Like when we get to cover letter writing, a cover letter is an extended request disguised as a series of informational segments about yourself with occasional questions thrown in there to make them react. So this is unique to business writing. You don't usually see this in fiction or narrative writing.
I mean, when you ask for a callback or a contact information or a date you suspect or follow up, you use a period or?
It depends. Like if you're no, you would use a question mark because you're definitively. It's an imperative statement or question. You're definitely asking. You're not being polite about it because you don't need to be polite about it. Politeness is for when you already have the job interview or you have the job itself. Like you don't want to offend someone who's 4 levels above you. But in your cover letter, you want to say, "May I please have your resume? May I please have your business card?" You don't want to, give them any possibility not to see that as a question. See? Yeah, on break. 15 minutes around, yeah.
Louise said that they must come and get their money for transportation.
Not everyone
just
did.
eliminate. I'm just
Who-
eliminating. Anyone else in here that needs to go get their money, they should go right now, she says.
All right. Anyone else?
Yeah, these 2 questions here, right?
Right. So
Do you think quotation mark is offensive?
quotation. What do you mean? Question mark. Quotation marks don't make sense.
Please reply by December 10th.
Right. Is someone saying it or
Not
you writing?
quotation mark, what are we calling?
Ellipses? Da-da-da?
Exclamation point?
Exclamation.
No! No, why would you do that in business writing? No, because, like, again, the example that I gave with Enders was, for exclamation point, if it's something legitimately shocking, like, oh God, I've cut off my hand! Exclamation point. Fine. But if you're just asking, would you please reply by December 10th? Exclamation point? No.
I thought exclamation points was shock.
Yeah, extreme emotional,
Shock.
outcome, or something like that.
Extreme.
Yeah. You want to stay away from the exclamation
But I
point.
use it a lot, so that's.
Right, but in business writing, you want to put it to very,
So
very,
you
very,
would put a
very,
question mark on that.
Oh, yeah, which is what, someday I'll get around to, business writing with you guys. Actually, only about a week or two. I'll start drafting. Yeah, what's up?
So you wouldn't put a question mark.
No, in business writing, in this context, you wouldn't, but this you don't have to worry about. This is me just trying to clarify that it's a mostly business writing phenomenon. Miss Carroll, you didn't miss anything. You're welcome. I aim to please.
question marks are never combined with other question marks, exclamation points, periods, or commas. For example, you would not write, you might ask, what is the point, with a question mark, followed by a period.
And why would you do
Besides
that?
being used in
It has a
direct
point.
questions, question marks are sometimes placed after statements, elliptical questions, questions within sentences, and questions in a series. Select each question mark type for more information about it.
Gotta say,
Questions in a series.
yeah. Who are you? What do you want? Where are you from?
That's a series?
1, 2, 3. Well, if you put them in a dialogue.
okay, all right.
All right.
Question, use one question mark.
Yeah, you're never gonna use multiples, at least in formal writing. Yeah. If you have a, all right, as they said, and as I said in my PowerPoint on Monday, if you have a period and none ellipses, ellipses is the exception, a period, an exclamation point, or a question mark, the sentence ends right there, with some exceptions that we're going to go over.
I would like to see, and then I would like
Two
to.
question marks.
No, because one question mark is enough.
I mean, right now.
If you're writing a text to your kids, awesome. If you're writing a cover letter, not awesome. Awesome. Let's go.
Question marks can turn statements into questions. For example, the statement, he finished the report yesterday, may be turned into a question that indicates surprise or doubt. He finished the report yesterday? Depending on what you want to express, you can use a period or a question mark for some sentences.
Everyone get that? Do you want me to replay it? Okay, so what about don't you get, guys? Talk to me. Alright, but I thought I heard some dissension in the ranks. Sorry, the word dissension is such a great one. Alright, cool. So no one has a problem with this? Everyone understands how this might happen?
This next one.
Elliptical question.
Elliptical questions are questions that refer back to other questions or statements. In this example, the first question is a direct question, and the second is an elliptical question that refers back to it. When will the project be done? In 2 weeks or 3? Elliptical questions are incomplete in that they cannot stand on their own, but rely on other parts of the statement for their meaning.
Okay?
So it doesn't.
Without the first question, it's just a fragment. So you want to watch out for those.
So elliptic questions can't stand on its own.
Nope. Never could, never will.
That's correct.
It's what?
Question mark.
Excuse me?
You said that's correct.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but in 2 weeks or 3 is a fragment without anything before it. Does that make sense? Sorry, did I kind of go right over it? What were you saying?
It's two question marks.
Yeah, that's right. But the question marks aren't right next to each
Two
other.
questions in one phrase.
No. Can I?
Please.
Elliptical, you see it says elliptical questions. You can't have an elliptical question. It has to be 2 sentences. One describing the other, well, you know.
Because it can't stand on
One
its
of
own.
them won't stand by itself, like in 2 weeks or 3, wouldn't stand by itself. You have to have the first one in order for it to be elliptical.
Why couldn't you leave it
Sure,
as
you understand.
one simple?
Because it's not a complete thought. Look, in 2 weeks or 3, that wouldn't be a complete
Sometimes I
sentence.
understand. I don't like
It couldn't stand on its own. That's why it's got to be elliptic. Think about it. Take when will the project be done away? And you just had in 2 weeks or 3. Would that stand?
You take away the first half?
Yeah.
If you take away the first half, it's a sentence fragment and it can't stand. Yeah, because without anything to give it context, what do I care? Alright, questions to the session. Oh, thanks, man. Read what now? Oh, there's one in room 2. Go see it. Did you ask Chris? No, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's usually 2 check the AT supply closet.
Okay.
And ask Chris to open it for you.
Okay, thank you.
Alrighty. Questions within a sentence. So everyone's clear on elliptical questions. It is not a new, weird form of grammatical workout. Can't stand alone, it won't.
Question marks are most commonly used at the end of sentences, but they can also be used within a sentence. The question ends with a question mark, but the sentence as a whole ends with a period. So, for example, the following sentence ends with a period, even though a question mark is contained within it. The question, how can we finish on schedule, was on everyone's mind.
No comma? Oh, the comma goes on top. First, we don't need a second though.
Nope.
Is that the question?
Now that makes me
Now, I've
think about
never seen
quotation
that.
marks.
Let's not get into quotation marks. They're a rule for dialogue. They're just not going to come up very often in business.
Business, right.
But just in case, we should teach you. Yes, Miss Cheryl.
I've never seen that. Where a question mark is like almost in the middle and then the period. I never seen that.
It's a,
Yeah, I'm a comma freak or a colon freak. You know what I mean?
yeah, you could use...
colons and stuff. I never seen this.
Yeah, okay. It's a
Because
relatively
it's
rare
business
style.
writing. This is stuff for business writing.
Right, but
Yeah.
even within business writing, it's a relatively rarely used style. The rule of thumb with
I
business
think a lot of
writing,
this stuff is just the way sometimes.
it's important to understand this, so I'm going to hold on to Cheryl. It's cool, don't worry about it. When I say hold on, I'm actually more reminding myself to get back to you, because I'll forget if I look away. So, I'll just do a brief, maybe not even 30-second explanation. The point of all non-business writing is to express something about yourself, right? Business writing is different. You know, fiction, poetry, essays, all of them are reflecting something about yourself and getting it out onto the page, right? No disagreement? Good. Business writing, by contrast, is meant to display facts in an unambiguous, straightforward style. If you're writing a sentence that's ambiguous and the meaning can be taken multiple ways, at least in, where you're in your position, where you're a job seeker, you want to avoid that. It's the most plain spoken of all the styles. It also has the least individuality in it, I'm afraid to say. But there's still loopholes within that general structure. So if you're looking to express something, business writing is not how you're going to do it. But since I'm teaching the class, you're going to express something anyway, despite that limitation. Is everyone clear? Okay. If I see anyone nodding up, I'm going to throw this quarter at them. Then you'll be 25 cents for mission.
I have a question.
Yes, Miss Cheryl, I'd be glad to answer it.
Okay, if I'm writing something business and I use grammar and spell check, would grammar would the machine put that in?
It depends on the edition of Microsoft Word. I would actually bet against it picking that up.
Because I would never remember. I would not.
Spell check is usually pretty good about the actual
grammar.
Right, the spelling and grammar check is usually pretty good about sticking to the spirit of this sort of thing, and usually will allow that, yeah. But again, it depends on the edition. They keep upgrading the intelligence. So, God, we take forever on each slide.
Each
It's my
question in the
fault.
series should be followed by a question mark.
Hang in there, guys. We got another, 10 minutes till break, and you guys can have a rest for 15 minutes. Right. So everyone gets that? What? Everyone gets that? If you're asking multiple questions, you're going to need multiple question marks. Sorry. The chair. You awake, man? Good. As long as your live scribe's awake.
She has my last one.
Oh, alright. We're going to talk to Chris over break. So let's move on to the next slide. 3 o'clock,
Where
we're
do
going to take
you
a
put
break.
the question mark when you're using quotes? Well, it depends on the sentence. You should consider whether the whole sentence is a question or only the part in quotes. The rule is you place a question mark inside quotes only when it's part of the quoted matter. For example, in this sentence, please consider the manager's question, which task should be prioritized. The question is the quoted content. Therefore, the question mark goes inside the quotation marks. But the question mark follows quotes when the entire sentence is a question, as in, which of the employees wrote the article, Techniques for Successful Selling? Question marks can also be used within parentheses to indicate doubt about the correctness of a number, date, or other fact. But you should never use a question mark within parentheses to express sarcasm or irony. In the sentence, the manager's important meeting lasted 2 hours, a question mark placed in parentheses next to the word important gives it a sarcastic tone. Which sentences use the question mark correctly?
All right, guys. Let's take a vote. Whoever thinks is it really true uses the question mark correctly. All right. No, anyone disagree? All right, cool. We're gonna check that one. All right. The team leader wants to know when you're taking vacation. Is that a direct question or an indirect question, guys? Damn right it is. So we're not touching that thing with a 10-foot stick. All right. You're going to go ahead with the project, direct or indirect?
Indirect.
You're going ahead with the project.
That's direct. Right,
Right, direct. Everyone said direct, right?
Well, if you're going ahead with the project,
Yeah, you're asking them a direct question.
It is a question.
Right. So this, where is conference room B?
Yes.
What? Where is conference room B? You're asking for direct.
say number three.
Number three.
You can do it like.
You're going ahead with the project?
You are going ahead with the project.
I mean, you're.
That's a direct question.
Remember they said some statements can be
Say
yours.
you're, that's it,
So
yeah.
you say, are you?
Are you? Yeah.
You're.
You're getting thrown off because they're using local vernacular?
This is a direct question.
They said that some statements can be questions.
Right.
You're going ahead with the project.
That's tricky.
Alright. So anyway, I'm pretty sure it's right. If I'm wrong, I'll buy you stuff. Whatever.
Go with the next one too.
Where is conference room B? Fine. This one, I think. Well, what do you guys think?
That's after the quotation.
After the quotation?
After the
I'm waiting to get that whole, the
Oh,
big
yeah.
question mark inside.
Right. So if it's so if it's part of the actual quote, like I said, you know,
So
Why is
should the
Miss
question
Janet
mark
Johnson
be
in my
where,
class?
when do you
That
think?
goes outside of the quotation mark.
yeah. So that's not
see a
right.
comma.
That's right. I don't think that's right.
All right.
That one's not right.
Yes. After we finish this, we'll go back to the quotation things. But for now, we're gonna finish this up and then take a break. All right. So, who remembers what the term is for the last one on the page? What time will Felipe be here? 8 or 9 a.m. What's that called?
That's sarcasm.
That's a fragment of,
Elliptical question.
yeah.
Elliptical question, guys, because at 8 or 9 p.m. it doesn't do jack without the first part. All right. So I'm putting all my money on these answers and done.
But number 3.
All right, we're good. Very good. Now let's go back and review those inside the question mark
In the
things.
sentence,
Yeah,
but
whatever.
you should never use it.
Whatever.
Question marks can
Whatever.
but the question mark follows quotes when the entire sentence is. The rule is you place a question mark inside quotes only when it's part of the quoted matter. For example, in this sentence, please consider the manager's question, which task should be prioritized. The question is the quoted content. Therefore, the question mark goes inside the quotation marks. But the question mark follows quotes when the entire sentence is a question, as in, which of the employees wrote the article, Techniques for Successful Selling? Question marks can also be used, but you should never use it in the sentence. Which sentences use the question mark correctly?
To what?
In the sentence, the manager's important meeting.
What? So you
Second question with the question mark on the outside of the quotation mark.
Yeah, well,
The quotation marks just depicted a title. It wasn't like something
Inside.
like
right. So if it's a question, then
the
well,
whole thing was a question.
right. So the whole thing is a question. The whole thing is a question that goes outside of the quote. the quotation marks. If only the quoted materialist question because it's get it? Alright. Cool. So
Can you identify the sentences that correctly use the question mark?
actually I think we're gonna pick up on this for 20 out of 27. So if you guys come back here at 3:10 or so, you got 15 minutes, take a break, relax, chill. You know? Good fellow.